Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pro Unitate podcast, as usual. My co-host, Chioma. Hello, Chioma. How are you today? Yeah,
David, I'm fine as always.
ex-
Hello.
excellent. Coming to this podcast, we've obviously done a few podcasts before this. We've tried to highlight the origins of USOSA. We've had the President General of the organization tell us about his perspectives, what he intends to do in his next 2 years, how his first 2 years were. We've also had the perspective of two gentlemen on how USOSA was formed. One of them was SecGen for a period. I think he was acting. The other one was one of the founding fathers of USOSA. Gave us a direction on what spurred the creation of USOSA. I think it was a celebration of Sokoto and Warri federal government colleges coming together. And in the spur of the moment, after meeting with the then president, they thought it would be nice to form an association to protect and cater for all unity schools. Now we want to hear the ladies' perspectives. We have with us today Rosemary Obaka. I believe she was the pioneer treasurer of USOSA in its formation. It's a pleasure to have you, Rosemary. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
We also have the global president of FGGC Gboko, Lady Chide Omali. I'm trying to make sure I master the name. So these are our guests tonight. A brief, for those of you who don't know them, a brief history. Lady Omali is the current global president of FGGC Gboko Old Girls Association. She's from the class of 1991. She's a graduate of law, a mother of two sons, beautiful, and a philanthropist. And she's also a caregiver. She's a licensed psychotherapist, founder of mindfulness initiatives, and is a reputable businesswoman. She was a one-time assistant pro and welfare secretary to USOSA. For 2 terms she served, showing her dedication to the association. She was also a welfare secretary and vice president for the FGGC Gboko Abuja chapter. She has served in numerous USOSA committees over a decade. With Rosemary, like I said, she was the pioneer treasurer of the association. At the moment, she's held positions in the FGGC Gboko alumni, especially concentrating on the Abuja branch, and became the first president of the association. I don't want to seem like I'm talking too much. I'll open the floor to my co-host, Chioma. Chioma, I think you should get the ball rolling. What do you think?
Dear David, thank you. You can see I'm super excited because we're having ladies today. I've been talking to a lot of men. So today I'm excited that my sisters are in the house. So I will start with Chide as global president and someone who has worked a bit of the past because she was assistant PRO of USOSA. So I'm working in the shoes that she worked earlier. So it's good to have you. I'm just wondering, my first question would be, how did you get involved with USOSA? How did you, because all the people that we interviewed, when you look at their sets, they are like pioneer sets, we would have been there. So, and I'm coming like, we're now seeing someone from 91 sets. What was the interest? How did you get involved with USOSA?
Okay, good evening, and thank you for this wonderful initiative. It's such, a good initiative and a great opportunity to be a part of it. And like you said, the first female to be on this podcast. I mean, Gboko Babes, what else do you expect? We're always cheering or pioneering everything concerning the government girls' colleges. Okay, so this question you put to me now, I'm going to hold Rosemary Obaka responsible for this question. She is the one that dragged me into this. And the first time I heard about it, it sounded so good in my ears, and I said, no, this is a great opportunity and I must be part of it. And that was how it started. And since then, I never turned my back.
Oh, no, so this is interesting. I'm glad that the person that took you there is right in front of us. So, Rosemary, let's hear the story, please.
All right. Good evening, everybody. As I was introduced before now, I'm Rosemary Obaka, set of 88, FGGC Gboko. Gboko really impacted my life. I discovered that I'm gifted in languages, courtesy of FGGC Gboko. Although I didn't pursue that gift very well because I got married quite early. Currently, I speak 6 Nigerian languages, and I give that credit to Gboko because in the past, federal government colleges were truly national institutions, that they made sure every state was represented in every set. So that made me, that among other things, made me to love Gboko so much. And after I left Gboko, somehow fate took me back to Gboko. My marriage took me to Gboko. And one time I just came up because I see old students every now and then. I say, why don't we form an association? We are right here in Gboko so that we keep touch with the school. Because while I was in school, visiting day was a very big deal. So when marriage took me to Gboko, some visiting days I'll just cook food, prepare some things, and I'll drive into the school and I'll just start calling anybody who is available to come and eat, come and enjoy. Because while we were there were some underprivileged students that were hardly visited, and I knew how it felt. So from that, I felt that we should start an association. So I started one in Gboko. But not long after that, I had to relocate to Abuja. So when I got to Abuja, I now started an association in Abuja. My younger brother, knowing how passionate, I will not allow them to hear what FGGC Gboko. He got an information from wherever, I don't know. He said, a meeting will be holding in such and such place in Abuja, and it is people from FGC Warri, FGC Sokoto, and FGC Enugu that he thinks I should be interested. And that was how I walked in there. They were very surprised to see me. And they were just planning this whole anniversary, 50th anniversary, And then I jumped on the bus and I started telling my Gboko girls, look at what is coming up, So that was how I dragged Chide, and Chide, being a great mobilizer, started mobilizing other people. And Gboko now became very strong in Abuja, despite the fact that we had an alumni in Lagos before Gboko started, before one started in Abuja here. Abuja eventually became the hub, the center point for FGGC Gboko alumni. So in brief, that is the story of how we got into USOSA right from the beginning, where the suggestion came, let us register it as Pro Unitate Forum. We went to CAC, it was not approved, and we had to come up and say, what other name can we, right from the very beginning, Gboko was there, and we are still there, and we will continue to be there. Thank you very much.
Brilliant perspective. There you go. A lady's perspective. The first treasurer, I like to remind you, she's very good with accounting and money. All right. She managed us very well. So I'll switch over to Lady Omali. You prefer to be called Chide, you said. So I'll switch over to Chide. Chide, so in your view, here you are, dragged into USOSA. What would you say USOSA has done well over the period that you've been interacting with them? What would you say they've done well? What would you say they can do better? Or should I say we can do better? And what do you think the future holds for USOSA as an association?
Okay, so like Senior Rosemary, that's what we're used to calling ourselves that. So Senior Rosemary said, we're there from the onset. And the major objective was to bring PPP into the schools, the PPP partnership and, so on. So that was the main objective. We wanted a situation where the vision of the founding fathers would not go down. These schools will remain and they will be sustainable. So that was the main reason why, we kicked in. And somehow we couldn't achieve that because of, the powers that behold, at that time. So we couldn't achieve that, but we didn't stop pushing. So what I know that we achieved is that we achieved the fact that we're a force to reckon with. And we kept the spirit of unity alive. Through USOSA, we have touched lives in so many ways, especially with our alma maters. Because I remember very well during the time of Alberto Kumagba, our pioneer President General, may his soul rest in peace. We miss him so much. He was such leader to work with. What they call a leader? That was what he was. So I remember that almost every unity school I have been to during my time as first PRO, Assistant Public Relations Officer, before I became welfare for 2 times. So we went to so many schools and we changed a lot of things in those schools. We tried to raise funds, which we did. We changed like dining hall. We renovated. That kind of impact we did. We didn't have to go through the chapters, through the association. USOSA was able to bring on board the associations, through our sensitization and mobilization, and then, going about at that time. That was how we're able to actually mobilize people. Once they heard that, these people are going to this school, people join in, and anywhere you end up going to, especially when we go to, an old student that is in power. When we go to his office, the way that we are welcomed. So that spirit, we kept that spirit alive. I can't go to, let me say, like when Sanusi was CBN governor. When he was CBN governor, if I go to his office, I can't sit down for 2-3 minutes. I can walk right into his office, and he says, no, please, this is my leader. Even though he was my senior, but just the fact that we're all USOSANs, and then I was an executive at that time. I said, this is my leader. So, we kept that spirit alive. We went around, mobilized, raised funds for schools. What more can one do for, your alma mater? And I think that is what USOSA was able to achieve. Now, now, what we say, what more can we achieve, or what can we do better? We can do everything better. The only constraint we have, like we all know, is the government. Whether we like it or not, the government seems to draw us back in some ways because of policies. There are certain policies that we can't get involved in. And the only way we can get involved in is if we have our own people in power that understand our vision. So I think that we should push to be in power. We shouldn't let people that don't understand the word unity to be in power, because that is why today there's so much disunity. We can't run away from that. But even with USOSA, we're still trying to bring unity together. Once we have our own people in certain places of power, we are going to achieve more than we ever thought we would be able to. You can imagine a USOSA being the president. What more would happen? What more would you ask for? So I think that is, for me, that is the only thing, that's the only constraint we have. I don't think funds is so much of a problem, because we always rally around that we're able to raise funds. Once we have the right people in power, I mean, the rest will be history.
Chioma.
Absolutely, I totally agree with what she has said. The human resources we have, we just need power to be able to use what we have. That's a very interesting angle. And prior to this time, I used to say funds, but she has put another angle to it, that we need power. We need people who can have the money, but there are policies that they will bring up and will not be able to even utilize the funds that we have. So I totally agree. I was going to go to most senior Rosemary to ask, but she has given us a bit of background of what FGGC Gboko did for, but I just want to know, going forward in your life, the values, the ideals, what you believe in today. Are there things that you look back and you say, yes, if not for Gboko, I'm sure I wouldn't have known? So let's hear some of those things, the values right now that you're thinking that you can relate to, as I know that you come from FGGC Gboko. Aside the language, 6 languages.
All right. First and foremost, we all know that from the history of how the unity schools came about, during the course of trying to set up USOSA, we heard a lot about how the unity schools came about. They call them federal government college, federal government girls college, federal government this, but they were unity schools. From the issues that led from the colonial period up to the period of independence and so on and so forth. Nigeria is blessed with diversity of culture, religion, tradition, and so on. So they felt that they should establish these schools so that from young age, the children will imbibe that spirit of unity, But I personally think that there were not enough of those schools, because if we must be honest, the issue of tribalism is still very, very strong among us. Religious, whatever, is still very strong amongst us in Nigeria. So if we had more of these schools, I think the spirit that those of us who went to federal government schools, when they were truly federal government schools, we know the experience we had. We know the influence. We have friends all over. Any state you go to, my classmate is in Calabar, my classmate is in Maiduguri, my classmate is in Lagos, and so on and so forth. It was very beautiful. Some of us are still enjoying that up till now. But sadly, rather than improving on it, expanding on it, and strengthening it, our federal government colleges have become community secondary schools now. It's so sad. It's really, really very sad. Some people might not speak different languages like I do, but I know that spirit of unity. We used to do cultural dances when we were in secondary schools. I will go and join Calabar dance. You will see Hausa people joining thief dance. Is it Yoruba? I still remember those songs. We sang together, we danced together. We didn't know anything like tribalism. It's a heart aching. And I think USOSA, the force, the strength, the passion with which we started, the pioneer ESCO started somewhere along the line. Life is about ups and downs. Somewhere along the line, I don't know, some things happened and things went down, and then they are picking up from time to time. They are going up, going down and picking up. But honestly, I want to urge us that we really need to take this very seriously. Nigeria gave that to us. We should be able to affect the country with it. Some people who went to federal schools, they've held positions in this country. But sadly, because they are so few, the pressure from the larger number wouldn't allow them to give to this country what they were blessed to get from federal government colleges. So I think that unity, USOSA should be how will I call it? Should be a pressure group. A pressure group. From time to time, we should make some communique. We should come up with some things, proposals to the government, and say, do this, do that. During the first tenure, what were we doing? It was majorly mobilization, publicity. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. Mobilization and publicity, the first tenure. The second tenure, like Chide rightly mentioned, we went to 6 schools in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. We would choose one of these federal government colleges, go there, publicize, raise funds, do something impactful before our government, our ESCO, our tenure ended, So I would want to encourage the present ESCO, and then going forward, that we take this very seriously. We owe our country that. We owe our country. It's sad that we are few, that they can come up with this again. We need government that is really, really serious about the unity of this country and not paying lip service. Because as it is now, even the NYC, the federal government colleges, it's like nobody cares anymore. And that is not fair. We truly need this. Our children are getting married to people from different places. Is this how we're going to continue? So I want to say that the federal government colleges gave something to us. It taught us to love without bias, taught us to love without sentiments. And I think we should go back to that, because the purpose has not been achieved yet. The purpose why the unity schools were established has not been achieved, and it still needs to be achieved. So let us push for that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, I agree. So, some common trends in the podcast we've done. Values of what the unity schools gave to all of us is a common trend. USOSANs in certain positions of leverage is a common point. It's a trend. A few discrepancies would include you wanting more unity schools. One of our previous guests said it should have been exclusive. There should be a minimum number of unity schools, but that's neither here nor there. The important value I have got from what you said is that the purpose of the schools was unity, diversification, Hausas, Igbos, Yorubas, Edos, Thieves, Jukun, coming all together, just to name a few. I can include Fulanis as well. Coming together to make Nigeria what it was meant to be, which is a united country. Now, you ladies probably don't know about the New Nigerian. One of the reasons why the New Nigerian was created was to find that person who is a new Nigerian, who has that value of a new Nigerian, someone who would uphold the law, who would try and unite, someone who would change from what we experience right now into someone who wants the betterment of the country. As well as we also want to get, we call it the reverse brain drain, get the best brains from diaspora and get them to invest in our country, Nigeria, to improve services, to improve communication, to improve needs. Slow and steady, I believe, we are winning the race, no matter how bad or where the country is. My next question will be directed at Chide, the global president of Gboko. The President General, in his inaugural podcast with us, which will be released very shortly, he mentioned that part of his second term will be to concentrate on the use of technology to help improve education and help improve the association. He did mention that he is in partnership with a few organizations who are leading the drive in his technology program. He did mention Alumni Hub. Can I ask, what do you know about Alumni Hub? What are you doing to get your people to start using that technology, which will help or drive the creation of one space for all USOSANs? What can you add to quickening the process, basically, and how can you, what would you say would be another leverage in terms of technology to help the association?
Okay, this question is very good because right now we are already there's no better time than have this hub, this alumni hub. From what I understand, it's the same what USOSA is doing of bringing all the schools under one umbrella. That is what the hub would do, bringing all the schools, all the USOSAs from wherever under one umbrella, and it helps every alumni. Like Gboko now, we're all going to be under one umbrella. It will be easy to pass on messages, easy to receive messages, easy to broadcast, and then easy to send out or help entrepreneurs to sell their market. So it is very good, and there's no better time than now for this alumni hub to kick off, because we are doing we are 50 this year, and 50 this year there will be celebration, there will be projects, and you can't do that without raising funds. This hub is going to help us raise funds, because whether you like it or not, people don't trust monies in the hands of people or associations. They always have that in that the monies would not be used for the purpose. But with the link, with the alumni hub, they will know that there's transparency. You will send the link, they see it, they see what it's going to be used for, and they will, send in their donations. So it's a fantastic idea, it's a laudable idea. It's a great one because it's helping us already, and we're already sending out the links for people to quickly join. And the fastest way we're able to do that is send it individually. For them to join individually, instead of having to, do it one by one and so
Adding
on.
Adding them one by one.
Yes. So they will do that, but we'll be there to admit them. So that's very good. I don't know what, because me, I'm old school, quote unquote. So I'm not so tech savvy. But from that's why I think that this is a fantastic idea. And of course, there's still room for improvement. But what to do better, I don't know yet. But I know that there's room for improvement, and there will be that improvement. The technical people will know better, but for me, I think this is great already.
I would suggest once the podcast with President General is released, Chioma, please share a link with the ladies so they can have a better idea of what his next 2 years look like in terms of technology, and see how their school can key in. I'll leave the next observation and questions to you, Chioma.
Yes. Thank you, David. One thing that made me smile that I heard from her is mobilization. She has always been one to mobilize people. So the fact that she's already mobilizing people to register is a great start. Every other thing would be with time. We keep enlightening people on how it works, and we'll be right there where we want to be. Alumni Hub. So before I say any other thing, I just want to thank the New Nigerian for this collaboration with USOSA. It's amazing. David wants to say thank you from USOSA because this platform is going to give us a lot of room to have lovely discussions like you're having with our sisters this evening. So I want to thank the New Nigerian for this partnership. Right. Okay, who do I ask this question? Okay, let me go to Rosemary.
Okay.
So, giving back, would you say, I'm just thinking, aside the infrastructures that we always take back, is there room for mentorship for the people in there? Because I've realized that I always say when you look at the first generation, there's a difference between first generation of people that graduated from community schools. The gap keeps widening. Is there a room for mentorship with your with the association? This question, I think that the global president will also add to it. Are you mentoring the ones there? Because I think there's a gap, what it used to be and what it is now. What are we doing to close that gap? Even with the people in your association, the old students who are in your association, I'm sure when you come for meeting, there's a gap. The values that people had then, and you see some behavioral patterns, and you're wondering, did we all go to FGGC Gboko? What are you doing to cover that gap?
Okay, thank you very much. Definitely, life, like our mothers, our parents, they used to see us and say, where did we go wrong? How did we raise these children? And today we are saying the same thing regarding our children. It is said that change is the only thing that is constant. It's just that some changes are positive while some are negative. It is all part of life. You understand? Yes, we have room for mentoring. In fact, in our last meeting, we even discussed, but we said we needed to strengthen ourselves very well. We are drawing out, this is the first time we are having a global president in Gboko alumni. You understand? So a lot of plans are still going on, but you need to stand very well before you can pull somebody else up. So it's a work in progress right now. Regarding what was discussed earlier concerning the using digitalization, I had it in mind coming to this podcast because the whole world now, if you are not .coming, then you are .going. You are being left behind, So we are old school, quite all right, but we are still struggling to keep up. We might not be able to do very well, but at least we know that is the future. That is the present and it is the future, This hub that was just mentioned, I'm very happy to hear about it because, there's a saying in our local parlance that if you hold one broomstick, you can easily break it. But when you gather everybody together, there is strength in unity. When we bring people together, yes, so the first generation unity school, second generation, and whatever generation we are at right now might be different. But one good thing is that unity schools have turned out a lot of number of people. So if we are able to harness everybody into this one umbrella,
then that's the leverage you're talking about.
Will be a force to reckon, one umbrella, and everybody is listening. This podcast is a very great idea. It's going to be a continuum coming to say this, say that, and everybody under this umbrella. By the time you keep hearing the same thing, before you know it, all of us are thinking alike. All of us are having the same, world view, targets. There's this oneness, and before you know it, whatever we set our hearts to do, we will do
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's also why we are happy that brothers and sisters.
We will get to a point
diaspora-
where we'll say we are scholars for the country, and it will be clear and faster.
So it looks like the reception where Rosemary is going in and out. No matter, she will emphasize her point. She will come back to us. But basically, I suppose what she's trying to surmise is that in unity, there's leverage. In unity, there's power. So coming together will definitely produce that unity that we crave.
I was trying to point out that by the time we have even our brothers and sisters in diaspora speak and have their own perspective for where they are, I can imagine mentorship will be going on already on this podcast. So it's a great idea.
Absolutely. While we try and get Rosemary back, Chide, I don't know, I have that tendency to call you lady. Okay, go on, Rosemary. You're back with us, so go on, finish your what you were trying to emphasize to us.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, I was just rounding up and saying that it's a great idea, and everybody should be committed to the movement. What's happening to the network? Oh, so sorry. I don't know. My network is misbehaving. I think I've said most of what I wanted to say, but all I'm just saying is it's a great idea. Technology is the way to go. And let's encourage ourselves. Tell one and tell one to tell one and tell one to tell one. And let all of us come under this umbrella and we will make things happen for this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Obviously, go on, Chioma, go on.
So in terms of mentorship, while she was speaking, I remember that the people we call Gen Z, they are always that the tech savvy people. So mentorship, it can work both ways. They can teach us what they know and we do the other side of it. So it's collaboration. So I was wondering if you have anything to add to the mentorship and the digital world we're speaking to.
Okay, so I just have one or two things to say. First of all, I'm privileged to be a psychotherapist. So that means I'm a counselor and I offer therapy to people. So at the same time, okay, I used to be the country director for Nigeria for an NGO that is bothered mostly on mental health. So we had the mentorship program. So I'm very familiar with mentorship. And you see, so that's why the fact that I think I'm like, either I'm a bridge builder or I'm in the middle, because I'm very close to a lot of, we call them ancestors and seniors. I'm very close to them. Now, the younger generation, to some certain I am very close to them too. But the younger ones, I'm still trying to, but once they meet me, they have this. I mean, they think that this woman. But when they get to meet me, they see me as someone that is more pleasant thought. So I have that aura already of mentorship, around me. So when I meet them, it is already a soothing and calming, situation, and I'm able to speak to them, encourage them, let them know. Even amongst my ESCO members, a lot of them were just available, not necessarily knowing what the USOSA thing is all about. But I've been able to school them. I've been able to, on my own, train them, even though I plan to have a training session. And I practically spoon feed them so they will understand what this is all about. It's about unity. It is there's nothing more than unity, and of course that unity starts from us before we can take it out. If we ourselves cannot unite properly, how are you going to unite or with another person or tell other people about unity? You can't. So this technology, of course, is going to help a lot in spreading this information or this idea or vision. Once they come on board, with the alumni hub, technology and so on, it will be the fastest way to send out this message. And then, of course, burning down to the fact that I chaired the first USOSA mobilization committee. I chaired it. Mobilization and sensitization. I chaired that committee. My own was so, I will meet someone on the road and I'll just harass you. If I just see you looking, there's something about us. We don't look tacky. We don't speak anyhow. We have some level of pedigree.
Yeah.
You're a USOSA, you know a USOSA. So I'll just say, sorry, what federal school did you go to? And the person tells me back and said, what do you mean federal school? I said, yes, you look like a federal product. And I said, they say, yes, it's true. I went to so and so school. I said, okay, you need to come on board. So that was, word of mouth. But you can imagine with technology now, how far this would go. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you.
Interesting. It's you're absolutely right, Chioma. Time is of the essence. We could go on and on and on, but before we leave our audience, I just want to speak to the girl child. Once every year, TNN does. It's like a sort of get together where we distribute sanitary wares to young girl who has come of age. I know that in the country there's a lot of issues to that. But can you speak to the girl child in the federal government colleges? How can USOSA help in terms of hygiene with regards to the girl child?
Please, I would like to speak on that.
Go on.
You see, this issue of girl child in Nigeria, in Africa, we talk to girls a lot. We talk to women a lot. There are so many women organizations here and there. I think the problem that the girl child has, the men also need to be addressed. The men need to be addressed. Enough of pushing the women to the back and trampling them underfoot. Enough. Gone are the days. Respect. You see, respect should be mutual. Treatment, placements, if you are human, you are human. Male or female, you are human. You see, placing the man ahead is just for the purpose of leadership. Like you say, two captains cannot steer a ship. So when there's a clash of interests, one backs down for the other. That doesn't mean, look, in the past, they've taken it so high, so, look, our mentality needs to change. Every time you go on social media, there is lamentation from here and there. Since this era of jackpot, our men are not finding it easy in Obodo Igbo. Our men are crying every day. Why? Because of the work system that they are used to from Nigeria. Although some women take it too far, some women have become so callous, some women have become very vindictive or bitter or whatever. But there needs to be a balance. Who is making the girl child to think low of herself? It's so bad that even our mothers, your daughter is married, her husband is misbehaving. Instead of you to call the husband and address him, you are telling your daughter to be patient, endure. You know, we need to change our mindset. There's a need. So we'll talk to these girls, but the society needs to change too. The society also needs to change. We talk about hygiene. Do you know a lot of men lack hygiene? Some men will not wash their boxers, but because the female makeup is different from that of the male, we tend to talk to the female a lot about hygiene. And because we do that, a lot of women are very conscious of their hygiene, while the men are messing up big time. Wives are complaining in the homes. A man will come, he fling his shoes there, remove his shirt, throw it there. All those things. It is everybody. We need to do it together. We should not only be talking to only girl child anymore. I'm sorry, I don't know how I sound, but this is the need of the moment. It should be both sides.
It's passionate how you sound, and it
should be both sides.
Very good thing.
Chioma,
you
see the spice that women bring.
Absolutely,
right?
It's fantastic. Can you round up?
All right, we just take like 10 seconds of their closing remarks so that we can start our time. Let's speak to the global president.
Okay, so let me quickly just add to that, to let you know that USOSA actually has a purpose, and we were actually, on the right path. I'm sure we are still on the way, even though we had, of course, there must be bumps on the road. You see, in 2008 or 2009, I can't remember when in particular, we had a plenary session in Enugu, and the topic was the boy child. You can imagine talking about the boy child then. If other associations or other pressure groups or continued on the topic of the boy child, we won't be in this kind of situation today, where girls are treated as what? What is wrong if a girl is on her period and she's stained? Why would a boy want to laugh at her when he can remove his shirt and cover her? That is what we are talking about. So that's why we're saying that it doesn't have to continue being about the girl, talking to the girls. We must start talking to the boys too. Because for now, I think we have stopped talking to the boys. So we have to start talking to the boys again. From wherever and however, we have stopped talking about the boys. So all in all, this podcast is fantastic. It's a great one. The Alumni Hub, fantastic, laudable idea. USOSA, the best idea. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone that came on this podcast. You've been great guests, and David, I can't stop talking about having women on the podcast, because I know that the previous one, the spice, the passion that women bring to the table. So thank you for joining us, and I wouldn't also stop saying thank you to TNN for this collaboration. I believe that together we build a community that one day, once we have power in our hands, we know exactly what to do with it. Thank you, sisters, for joining us, and it's a good evening from here.
Before we go, to the audience, the links to our handles are going across the bottom. Please help support the podcast by going to our YouTube channels, clicking the like button, subscribing. USOSA has one, TNN has one. Enjoy the podcast conversation. This is series 4. Fantastic. Ladies, it's been a pleasure having you. Again, we've been able to extract value in terms of our conversation. We'll let you guys get on with your day now, because we know you're very busy. We really appreciate your coming. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, TNN. I'll always look out for TNN.
Yeah, TNN. I think I should go on Google to go and see what TNN is doing, who they are, and what they are doing.
We'll send you a link.
Thank you.
Okay, that would be very nice. And please permit me to correct something. Presently, I serve as the BOT chairperson in an acting capacity. Very soon, I don't know, we will do something about that. Just thought I should throw that out there. Thank you.
Thank you.